remind us that there once was military presence here. Now, Norbert is turning on to Friedrichstraße next, and Friedrichstraße today is known for all the shopping that can be done. But if we had been here in the 1920s, this would have been the site of the cabaret mile of the Roaring Twenties, or the Germans would say the Golden Twenties. So on this street, there are over 250 different theaters, restaurants, cabarets, cafes, everything you can imagine. It was a really wild place. But in the 1920s, there was also a big depression going on that I told you about earlier. So the question becomes, if no one had any money, how could they afford to go to the theater? The reason was the money depreciated so quickly, it lost value hourly. So it didn't make any sense to save money because by the next day it would be worth nothing. So instead, people would get paid, rush to Friedrichstraße, and spend their money, try to have a good time, forget about their worries, and that's how the street became so popular. It was also on the street that the German film actress Marlena Dietrich was discovered. She was working at a cabaret with only one line. She must have delivered this one line spectacularly because the German director von Sternberg saw her in this play, thought she was great, had her audition for the movie that would become The Blue Angel. It was the first film produced with sound in Germany, and it was a huge hit. On the night of the film's premiere, Dietrich was actually not present at it in Berlin because she was already on a boat on her way to the United States, where she'd become a famous actress in Hollywood. Once Hitler came to power, though, he really shut down all of these cabarets, and the street lost really all of its flair. And today, it's a nice street. There's some good stores, but it's definitely not exciting like it used to be. Now, from here on out, we are going to focus on the older part of Berlin history. And Norbert is taking us next to what is perhaps the most beautiful square in the city, called Gendarmenmarkt, coming from the French word gendarme, which means police officer. And a long time ago, there were police barracks in this area. The French influence comes from the fact that in the early 1700s, a lot of French Huguenots, or Protestants, were fleeing religious persecution in France, but they were welcome to settle here in Berlin. Berlin was Protestant, and they felt comfortable here, and moved right into this neighborhood. Once they arrived, they built themselves a church called the Französischer Dom, or the French Cathedral, which we'll see in a moment, which was and still is a Protestant church. When they were finished, the Germans said, well, that's not really fair, we want a church too. So they built an identical church on the other side of the square, called it the Deutscher Dom, or the German Cathedral, and that was a Protestant church, although not anymore. Now it is a museum about democracy in Germany. The square was finished in the early 1800s with the Konzerthaus, or the concert hall, done by an important Berlin architect named Karl Friedrich Schinkel. I'll mention Schinkel's name a few more times today. He did a lot in Berlin. The concert hall is indeed still functioning as the concert hall, and it's coming up here in a moment, just to our left. The square is used in the summer for a lot of outdoor concerts, and in the winter there's a Christmas market on the square. It's really the most beautiful in the city. So coming up just ahead, you can hopefully see, or will in a moment, the French Cathedral. And the German one is going to sneak up on us to the left. You can see what I mean when I said they matched. And the concert hall is in the center. This is a very upscale neighborhood in Berlin. The apartments here are going to cost a lot more than my apartment does in the West. There are also a lot of fancy restaurants and hotels here. So this is one of the nicest parts of town. Now Norbert's going to drive us a little further ahead, and it's already time for our last walk. So I'm hoping you folks can find the energy to go one more time with me. Like I said, there's a lot of things that we'll see we can't see from the bus, and we will have a free bathroom coming up pretty soon, in case that beer is starting to kick in. So we will use that in just a little bit. We will meet Norbert in about 40 minutes, half an hour, probably 40 minutes. So please do take everything you might need. Anything else, of course, you can leave on the bus. He's going to meet us at Museum Island. And from there, we'll drive one more final stretch together, and we'll end at the new synagogue. All right, here we are.